Hey, this is JC. Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban lifestyle and jungle survival. Today we're going to discuss what is the ideal length for a parang when it comes to jungle bushcraft, hiking or camping. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, do check out my shop links in the pinned comment or description below. You can even join as a channel member for exclusive content. Thanks a lot. In a video I did a few years ago, I discussed what I felt was the best all-purpose general parang for jungle bushcraft, hiking and camping. In that video, I said an 8-inch Duku Chandong would fit most people. Now, I would say that in terms of the pattern, the Duku Chandong, which is this one over here, or variants such as the Village Chandong in these two, are still my preferred choice when it comes to bushcraft, hiking and camping for most people. Now, this is a very popular pattern in Malaysia. It's distinctive for a sheep's foot style blade and then that curve that you see. So it's good for chopping, cutting, slashing and trail clearing. So very all-purpose. The other popular pattern for a Malaysian parang is the golok, which is this one over here. And it's very distinctive because of its pointed tip and then it has a belly. Now, although this is very popular, especially in Indonesia and the Philippines has their own version called the bolo, I prefer not to have it as a all-purpose general parang for most people. I'm not hunting, so I don't need a tip, I don't need to stab, and it's also a safety feature if you're going hiking or camping or bushcrafting with a group of people. When you're carrying this around camp, a sheep's foot is safer. Now, a lot of the goloks also have this recurve, which I prefer not to have because it's easier to sharpen in the field without a recurve, although they can be quite gentle like that. In any case, this is a golok and still not my preferred pattern for general bushcraft, hiking or camping. So we come back to the Duku Chandong or the Chandong variant. Now, we're not going to talk about the pattern here, we're talking more about the size or the length of the blade. Now, traditional Malaysian parangs would generally measure between 10 inches to 16 inches. There can be longer ones, but they aren't very common, or they will tend to be much thinner. They can go up to maybe 18 inches or 20 inches, and that's more for clearing undergrowth. So unlike the machetes, which can be much longer, the parangs in Malaysia generally, I would say, between 10 to 16, 10 to 14 inches. What you have in front of you are three lengths. This is the 8-inch, 10-inch and 12-inch. And all these parangs are made by MyParang, a manufacturer out of Malaysia. They make a great traditional Malaysian parang, but with modern kind of specifications and quality control. So if you're looking for a traditional Malaysian parang, you can't go wrong with their blades. Not only do they look beautiful, they're also highly functional. So I'm using the same manufacturer simply because I didn't want distractions for different manufacturers or different makes. So let's just stick with one for the purposes of this discussion. Now, they make only three sizes: 8-inch, 10 inches and 12 inches. If you look for other manufacturers, they might do 14 or 16 inches, sometimes 18, but those tend to be agricultural tools. So the most popular tend to be the 10 and 12 inches almost by default. And there's a reason for that. When it's too long, it's harder to transport around, it's harder to use as well, unless for that specific purpose. So if you are doing pioneering or trail clearing, then yes, it makes sense to have a long, thin parang, 18 inches or 20 inches, so they can really clear the trail. But if you're on an all-purpose parang, something smaller would make sense. Now, the 8-inch, in my previous video, I talked about this being a great length for bushcrafting, hiking and camping, and it still is, with some considerations. Now, if you're new, definitely I still think go with this because these bigger ones might be a bit more intimidating and you want to get to learn to use a larger knife. So that will make sense. Now, the other consideration would be if you're carrying a multi-knife system. So when I was thinking about this 8-inch, I was thinking you'd carry a secondary blade in the form of maybe a folding knife or a multi-tool like the Swiss Army knife. So this is kind of your very fine small blade, so you want a bigger belt knife. And then I felt this would really be good as an all-round kind of big blade. Now, for the traditional parang from Malaysia, there would be a section which is unsharpened, so it's a really long recastle. So while this is an 8-inch blade, really the cutting edge is only about 5 inches. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's a big waste. Well, that's just the way it is, and the reason is so that you can choke up if necessary to do fine work. right? You can pull back over here, and with this kind of a handle, that's really great because you can get leverage for chopping, but at the same time you can get really good control, and you can grip the parang in different ways as well with this kind of unsharpened ricasso. So this to me then becomes your default big blade, right? Similar if you had a big knife like this. This is my modified Cold Steel Recon Scout, right? This would be a big blade, and it would make sense to then complement the big blade with something like that, a folding knife or something smaller. So if you just wanted not so much to do chopping, because maybe you bring out a saw, or maybe in terms of activities, you don't really see yourself chopping, you want to do general cutting, maybe some battening, maybe some kind of cutting and slicing, then you just need something like that. And this is actually a very nice traditional design, inexpensive as well if you compare it to like a modern knife like that, and can complement a small knife as I showed. Now let's talk about the longer knives, the 10-inch and a 12-inch. Now if you aren't carrying a smaller folder but you're carrying a belt knife, so some kind of a fixed blade such as this is the BPS DBK Bushmate. So it's a smaller bushcraft style knife, but designed in the vein of a woodlaw or a bushlaw and other kinds of bushcraft knives, right? They have a very distinctive look with that drop point but almost spear point blade, Scandi groin, some with a secondary bevel, full tang, and a wooden handle like that. So this would be a belt knife for a lot of people who do bushcraft or even camping. Now, if you have a knife like that, which is about 4 inches long, or you might have one that's 4.5 inches long, then having a small knife like this or small parang may not make sense in terms of being a complementary tool, because as mentioned, the cutting edge is about 5 inches, this is already 4 inches. It's not much bigger, even though of course it's much heavier and wider. But if I were to carry a belt knife like that, then it makes sense to carry a larger parang, let's say a 10-inch or a 12-inch. So that's why I would upgrade to a larger parang if I'm carrying a belt knife which already has about a 4-inch blade. Now, why would I choose between the 10 and 12-inch? One definitely would be your physiology. If you are shorter or smaller in stature, then you might want a smaller parang, easier to wield. If you are taller, 6-footer, big hands, and you like the weight, then you would want to go with the larger and heavier 12-inch parang. Personally, for me, I think both actually work well. Definitely the 10-inch is easier to manage. Even though it's just 2 inches, it's slightly lighter, it's shorter, easier to just move around in the jungle, and can really do a lot of the work that I need. So in terms of my general bushcrafting needs, well, I would say I'll be doing light bushcrafting. And remember, I have a multi-knife or tool system, so I will bring a folding saw, I will have a belt knife. So this will be my parang, mainly for doing my dirty work, cutting, delimbing, chopping slightly. When I mean chopping, if it's a big piece, we would saw, but if it's a small, 1-inch kind of branch or something, yeah, then we'll just slice it with a parang. And of course, basic trail clearing. Although I won't use this if I'm just bashing through the jungle with the purpose of opening up a trail, this wouldn't be the ideal parang. But as an all-purpose parang, which can do all the things I mentioned, then something like that would be good. And I've no problem as well with the 12-inch. And again, I guess if the belt knife goes bigger, then it makes sense to have an even longer parang. So I'd say for most people, I would say the 10-inch would be a good kind of a sweet spot. If you're a taller individual and you like that more heft, then go with the 12-inch. And MyParang also makes this 12-inch in the Duku Chandong pattern, but heavy duty. So it's even heavier. It's thicker and it's heavier. And a lot of people who like that sort of a heavy, front heavy parang likes that kind of weight. So you can check that out as well. Well, there you have it. That's my kind of rationale for what length parang you should carry. Currently, by default, I am going with the 10-inch, but I'll be bringing this 12-inch out more over time. And we'll see if I'll change my mind, because it's an evolving process as you get more experience, as your skills develop, and as you change the activities you do in the jungle or in your outdoor environment. Naturally, your tools may change as well to better suit your needs. Well, if you have a parang and you actually use it, let me know which length you prefer. What is your default? Or if you think you want to get a parang in future, which size do you think you get? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.